Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. To my regular viewers, it might seem a little odd that I'm doing this before I do a review of the original system, because that's usually what I do when I switch over to a new console. But I had planned on doing that, but then I played this, and I need to talk about it, and I don't want to wait another week. Now this is a game, and I use the word game in quotes, as it's not actually a game, but more of an interactive breakdown of the Nintendo Switch 2. I know this title is controversial because they're actually charging money for this game, and it's not a small amount, but $10. And while I think it's strange as well, playing it, I kinda see Nintendo's thoughts on why this might be worth paying for. This plays out like a museum tour, and exhibits to visit, and games to play. And if you think of it like that, you're visiting an interactive museum for $10. And if you put it that way, it's not that outrageous. However, even giving Nintendo the benefit of the doubt on why they charged money for this, the way they designed it was baffling. It has one of the stupidest progression systems that I've seen since the newest Endless Ocean game. Now let's back up. This has you on a huge version of the Nintendo Switch too, and all its parts. It even shows you the internal parts and it explains what they do. I liked the overall presentation. It was funny when you were on the Nintendo Switch 2 screen and it acts like a skating ring, and you'll fall over if you go too fast. It's an amusing little extra that they added to give the game some personality. Now in each section there are mini games and demonstrations based on the area that they're in. They were interesting at times, but often way too hard. The games love to show off the mouse controls, and I disliked using it every time. The way I have my TV set up, it makes using mouse controls very awkward. You can use the mouse on your pants, but I still prefer to use stick controls. The demonstrations were more about showing off the abilities of the new system, and the differences between this and the old system. They were interesting to do once, but they had less replayability than the minigames, and those were pretty low as well. You get medals when you complete minigames, and the demonstrations, and you use them to unlock other minigames and demonstrations. The amount that you need to unlock these areas seem very random, as later in the game it could be a very low number, and then sometimes it could be a huge number of them. It was never consistent. It's like the game was randomly throwing out the numbers you needed to unlock the exhibits. If you want to bypass a minigame and get the medals for them, there's a secret code that they're going to teach you later on. And really it's only there if you don't have the item that you need in order to show off what they want to show you. Like a 4K TV. But really you could just use it to up your medal count. So unlocking medals is not that big a deal if you don't mind cheating. In each area there are quizzes which you can take, which is about something in the area that you're in. They will show you a bunch of PowerPoint presentations. Then they'll give you a quiz on what you saw. I did find them mostly interesting, and they are 100% optional, so you can skip a quiz that you don't care about. But let's get into the real problem in this game, and that's the stamps. They're the thing that makes this thing a chore to play. They should have made it so we're free to explore the showcase of the Nintendo Switch 2. But they made the strange decision to gate off every area. So you can't just go to an area that you're interested in. You have to hunt for the stamps in each area in order to keep going. It's like when you went to a museum on a school field trip, and you have to write something down about the exhibit so your teacher knows that you actually went to the exhibit. The game treats us like a child who needs to be guided around. And funny enough, I don't think an actual child would want to play this. The target audience for this is people who want to know more about the technical parts of the system. There is a stamp podium by each one of the buttons or features they want you to see. It's not hard to find for the most part, but it's very annoying since these stamp podiums were invisible until you walk up to it. They don't give you any help finding them, and sometimes these stamp areas were a little bit tricky to find. In the final area, they have an insane hidden path that you need to find in order to get that stamp. Why are they making it so fucking hard to find these things? If this was optional, it wouldn't be so bad. But if you want to progress, you're going to need to find them all. The game has a set path you need to go on, which includes finding all the stamps on both Joy-Cons. It did feel a bit redundant, but then you get access to the internal Joy-Cons, which was really cool. Then the game takes a dark turn, as it has you exploring enlarged wrist straps and explaining how they've been improved. You know, those things for sure we all use, and don't just throw it away when we get it. It gets even worse when they have you exploring a large Joy-Con grip, and then a Nintendo USB camera, a Pro Controller, and a pointless Joy-Con 2 wheel. If you don't remember the wheel from the Wii days, it's that thing that lets you use motion controls in driving games. Does anyone really use motion controls anymore? It was a fun novelty of the Wii, but I think it died out years ago for the most part. The biggest problem with them having us do these accessories is that it's very possible you don't have them, and it kind of feels like a commercial, and you're required to explore them in order to get the stamps that you want in order to finish the tour. This is the middle part of this tour, and it was very boring. This section can take about 2 to 3 hours depending on if you do the quizzes, mini games, or the demonstrations. If you get through all that, you get to the best part of this tour, the internals of the system itself. It's one huge area, and it takes about an hour and a half to finish, and you're going to need to find all the stamps in this area in order to unlock the actual final area, which is very small and kind of pointless. They should have just added it to the final area. So what happens after you collect all the stamps? The creator of the game thanks you. Then you're free to look around as much as you want. Even if you do all the quizzes, the same creator just comes up to you and thanks you for doing them all. And that's it! In each area, there's a lost item you can find, and then return it back to the lost and found. It was basically just the same items over and over again. Worse yet, you can only hold one at a time. So every time you need to offload it and go back to the lost and found before you can go to another section. You can easily just warp around the map, but why not just let us store all of these items in an invisible backpack, then just turn it in at the same time? Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour was engaging when I went to areas that I was interested in, but when it went into the details of things I'm never going to buy, it was frustratingly dull. The mini games and exhibitions were enjoyable once. The quizzes were interesting if you cared about the subject, but the required stamp collection gameplay. This is normally $9.99, and I would say wait for it to go on a sale. This should have honestly been free with an expansion pass like they did with Mario Kart DLC and Animal Crossing DLC. I have no idea why they didn't do that with this. If you're interested on how the Nintendo Switch 2 works or the features inside, you will find this interesting. But you're going to be frustrated by the lack of freedom. So for that reason, I say wait for an extremely deep sale. Maybe 99 cents. So, up next is my review of the original Nintendo Switch system. I'm going to look back at the way it held up, and the gains for it, and overall I'm going to give it a grade from A to F how good it really was. So until next time, thank you all for watching.